Mets have been one of the feel-good stories of the season so far. They are perceived as overachievers. They have overcome a lot of injuries, and they are playing some very feisty baseball. They're coming back in games, coming up with clutch hits. Terry Collins is really happy with the way his team has performed. But even with all the complementary players playing well, you need that superstar doing well, and David Wright's certainly doing that.
And from the opening day of the season until today, David Wright has been on fire. For the first time in the last couple of years, he's used the entire field. In fact, more of his hits, in fact, his extra base hits, have been to right field. And he's been productive. He's taken his walks. He's walked more than he's struck out. And when they need a leader, they look to David, and he's been there every game.
And he is standing by at field level with our Buster Olney.
David Wright, one of the biggest surprises today was that you weren't voted in as a starting third baseman of the National League All-Star team, but you were picked by your peers. Tell me your emotions about that and how you found out.
Well, I mean, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't disappointed. You know, everybody wants to start the All-Star game, but Pablo's having a great year. You know, the fans voted him in. The fans have spoken, but I'm thrilled to be voted in by my peers. You know, obviously that's a you know, an incredible thrill to you know, have that respect of the guys you go out there and play against every day.
Now, you've got 12 plate appearances against Clayton Kershaw, who pitches for the Dodgers tonight. Tell me a lesson you learned about facing him.
That's easy. He's good. You know, he's dominant. He pitches well against us. He's got so many different pitches that he can beat you with and get you out with, so you have to almost just go up there and look for one and hope you get it.
David, thanks. Dan, back to you.
All right, Buster, thank you. Well, Clayton Kershaw hoping to provide some good news for the Dodgers. As people around baseball know, as fans know, the Dodgers can't score any runs. They've been shut out 5 times in their last 6 games. They have the worst offensive numbers in all of baseball in every category just about in the month of June. If Don Mattingly is going to be happy about anything tonight, Orel, it's that he's got his ace on the mound.
He does, and he won the Triple Crown last year as a Cy Young. Strikeouts, the innings pitched, all of it was there for Clayton. But Clayton needs to perform like the Cy Young right now because the Dodgers need him. He has 5 wins so far this year. Last time at this time he had 7. And even when the team is struggling, he does not lose the critique. And really the critique on him this year is the long ball. We've really got to watch his slider tonight because that's a pitch that has hurt him and could hurt him in a close-scoring game because they haven't scored many runs.
Dylan G will make the start for the New York Mets as the Mets try to complete a 4-game road sweep here at Dodger Stadium. Mets and Dodgers Sunday Night Baseball comes your way next.
shy of 3,000 miles. A lifetime apart, but forever linked through memories and milestones. The cities may be different, but the goal remains the same.
Beautiful night here in Los Angeles as Clayton Kershaw and the LA Dodgers take the field, hoping to salvage the final game of this series from the New York Mets. The Dodgers scuffling, to say the least. As mentioned, have been shut out in 5 of their last 6 games, including twice by the Mets in this series. Prior to that, in all 3 games by the Giants in a San Francisco sweep earlier this week. Join our companion broadcast at ESPN.com's Gamecast for advanced statistics, and you can interact with Buster Olney on Twitter at Buster_ESPN and hashtag SNB. You can also like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/ESPN Baseball Tonight. We'll have some All-Star talk for you, among other things, with the All-Star rosters announced tonight. Terry Collins will be at the All-Star game as one of the coaches for the National League. And here is the lineup that Terry Collins will send out there tonight. As always, presented by Taco Bell. The Mets have the 4th most runs per game in the National League this season. David Wright having a big year, and he has always had a lot of success against the Los Angeles Dodgers. And Scott Hairston, whose brother Jerry plays for the Dodgers, Scott always in there against the lefties. Got terrific numbers, as always, against the left-handed pitcher. But this is no ordinary left-handed pitcher on the mound tonight. The reigning Cy Young Award winner, Oral, in the National League, Clayton Kershaw.
And Clayton is having another really, really good year. His ERA at this point last year was actually a little higher, over 3 slightly. The thing with Clayton, he's given up a few more home runs this year. Last year, a total of 15 in 220-some innings. Already given up 11. He's got to watch his slider and get that ball down.
As you can see from some of the shots as we get ready for game time, the shadows will be a factor tonight. We are underway with Andres Torres taking a strike, says home plate umpire Tony Randazzo. Torres hitting just .209, and you can see very limited success against Kershaw. Chases that slider in the dirt quickly. 0-2.
That's definitely the slider that he likes, that one that looks like a low fastball and ends up in the dirt. The one he struggled with this year has been the one that starts as a strike and stays as a strike.
75 degrees at game time, not a cloud in the sky here in Southern California. Looping curveball misses high.
And don't be surprised to see both teams try to play for a run early. Just, again, you can't see the ball. We've talked about it. We've lamented about it. It's hard to see, and they're struggling offensively.
And a fastball hits him on the hand, or did it? Tony Randazzo is not quite sure if that hit the hand or the bat, and now he will agree and send Torres down to first base.
There might not be a question that it hit the hand, but it hit the bat first.
Don Mattingly wants an explanation. Maybe wondering, Terry, what was it that Randazzo found out after the fact?
And it's so hard to tell because you hear it. It obviously hit part of the bat because you can hear it. And Tony Randazzo threw up his hands, timeout. That doesn't necessarily mean the hitter's been hit by a pitch. It just means the ball's dead.
So Torres aboard after the hit by pitch. Here's the number 2 hitter, the shortstop, Ruben Tejada. Kershaw does a nice job controlling the running game. And you said both teams may play for 1 run. Let's see if the Mets try to get something going early.
Well, early on, the shadows haven't encompassed home plate or the pitcher's mound yet and given the light a tough time. But what Terry's talking about here, before the shadows, even the hitter's backdrop, the black backdrop, that there's a glare that comes off it in these early games. And then the shadows creep in, makes it extra tough.
You go back over the years, Sunday night games on the West Coast, which start at 5 o'clock local time, games here, San Diego, Anaheim, San Francisco, etc. All-star games that have been played on the West Coast. Offense is significantly lower in these games than it is in your typical game in these ballparks. It is a big factor for the hitters. Runner going, got a good jump, and the pitch fouled back. Yeah, so as Terry said, well, Terry laments the fact. Orel doesn't do any lamenting about the fact that it's tough to see the baseball.
No.
He loved it.
And he should. And it's a real, if people are out there wondering, it's hard to quantify, but there we were quantifying it right there. It's really hard to see. And it drives hitters crazy. And pitchers love it, and they should. And if you change speeds, change eye levels, it can drive hitters crazy.
You can see it's a bigger factor in the first 5 innings. After that, usually the shadows have moved out past the mound and things are a little bit easier. Now they got Torres picked off. He was leaning and he gets caught in the rundown.
That's number 6 for Clayton Kershaw this year, and he is very good at holding the running game. He does have a high leg kick sometimes, but he goes with a slide step. And the great thing he does here is he doesn't go with the high leg kick, and he gets him picked off, so there's no chance to get back. He's got just the short jab stick right there. Torres was going on first move. They might have been going back to the hit and run, and Kershaw did a good job picking him off.
It is ruled a caught stealing on Torres's ledger because he had started towards second base when Kershaw threw behind him to first. Nor it looked like Kershaw gave him a different move the second time he threw over than the first time he threw over.
Well, the guys that have multiple moves makes it really hard on the runners, and that's what most lefties try to establish, the fact that they have different ways to get there.
Now Tejada fouls it off. 2 balls, 2 strikes on the Mets shortstop, hitting .309 on the season. The Mets have won 4 in a row, and that's right on the heels of a 4-game losing streak. Remember, they lost the last 2 games of their series with the Yankees last weekend. Then they were played sluggishly and poorly, losing the first 2 games of their series at Wrigley this week. Won the last game of the series in Chicago, and they've won the first 3 here. Just missed with a slider, full count.
And there's that slider we're kind of talking about that has given him trouble. Sometimes he likes to bring it up and into righties, but if that ball would have missed over the plate, it had been very hittable. Did not have much depth and was up there where the hitter likes it.
3-2. And a foul back. Kershaw last year won the Cy Young and won the so-called pitcher's triple crown in the National League, leading the league in wins, ERA, and strikeouts. And he's all of 24 years of age right now, already with 52 wins to his credit in the big leagues. Again, the 3-2. And he lost him, ball 4, and that pickoff looms even larger now.
We saw Clayton Kershaw pitch in spring training back when they were in Vero Beach their last year. He was a young kid, and we had heard all the rumor about how good he was. We sent Sean Casey, who is a really good professional hitter. He threw fastball, breaking ball to Sean Casey. He came back to the dugout, set his helmet down, and said, "This guy is the real thing."
So's this guy here, David Wright, having a big season. Second in the National League in batting, entering play today behind only the Phillies' Carlos Ruiz. And as you heard in the interview with David Wright and Buster Olney before the game, David Wright heading to the All-Star game again for the 6th time in his career. And only Mike Piazza ever entered the month of July with a higher batting average as a Met than David Wright is doing this year. Healthy and productive. And hits a ground ball to the right side. It will squirt under the glove of a diving Adam Kennedy, and everybody is safe.
And that's the difference this year in David Wright. He's fighting the ball off. He had the hole open over there. He didn't hit that ball that hard, but he has the hole open. He stays inside it, and that's why his batting average is so high, because he's using the whole field. Look, he fights it off, stays right on it. And again, this ball isn't scorched, but it's a single. And you're right, that pickoff looms huge right now.
Runners at first and second, 1 out for the Mets, and here's left fielder Scott Hairston. Hairston hitting cleanup, always plays against lefties, sometimes will play against righties, but he really does some damage against lefties.
For a manager like Terry Collins, having a guy that you can platoon him and hit him cleanup, what a luxury that is. And this guy is a legit cleanup hitter against left-hand pitching.
You can see the numbers he's got against Kershaw. He's not hit a homer against him, but he is a very impressive 7 for 17 against him in his career. And Kershaw falls behind in the count. So Orel, he's hit a batter, he's walked a batter, and now he's 2-0 on Hairston.
His last outing against San Francisco, he went 6 innings, gave up 8 hits, a couple runs, but it was a battle like this. He still had a pretty good line, but it was not easy. And you see, he's using the slide step even with a man on second. He's not trying to pick off David Wright at first. He's trying to keep Tejada at second close, because with the high leg kick, it's easier to steal third off of Kershaw than it is really to steal second. Being a left-hander, once he turns his head towards home, you get a little extra half a step on your lead going to third, and it's really harder for him to turn and throw to second, of course, than to first.
No guarantee, Terry, right, that Hairston's not swinging on this pitch.
He's got the green light all the way.
Maybe the conversation between Kershaw and Ellis about that. Over the outside corner for a strike, 3-1.
When you see the type of quality pitch he tried to execute and did on that low and away corner, that was not just going to be a get over strike.
I mean, again, he doesn't want to walk the bases loaded, but with Duda hitting behind him, being left-handed, he's not going to give in right here.
And a liner into left center for a base hit. Tejada will come around and score. Wright digging for third, throw cut, throw to second, and they get the out there on Hairston trying to advance, but scored an RBI single and give the Mets a 1-0 lead.
Well, the pitch before that, the 3-0 fastball away, was a higher quality pitch than the 3-1 fastball. He actually gives in on this pitch and is trying for low and away, throws it up and down the middle. Hairston does a great job not trying to do too much with it. He's very good at hitting lefties, and this proves it right here. A nice solid swing. Didn't really get it completely on the barrel, a little in on him, but you know what? It was perfect as far as elevation and placement, and the Mets break on top.
Lucas Duda the batter now. So an RBI single for Hairston. 7-6-4 on the putout on Hairston at second base. So the end result, a runner to third, 2 down, a run in. And here's Duda, scuffling lately, and a left-handed batter who does not hit lefties particularly well, hitting .228 against them so far this season. He sends a fly ball left center field. Gwynn there, and the inning is over. A run in for the Mets in the top of the first. The Dodgers coming up when we come back. Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Mas. In part by Jeep Grand Cherokee and by Scott's. Feed your lawn. Feed it. Bottom of the first at Dodger Stadium. The Mets with an early 1-0 lead on the Dodgers. And we take a look at the Dodgers starting lineup tonight, brought to you by Taco Bell. Still without the injured Matt Kemp, Andre Ethier, Mark Ellis, A.J. Ellis, no relation, 6 home runs. That's more than anybody else in the lineup tonight. All of these hitters put together in the lineup tonight have a total of 15 home runs on the season. Juan Rivera, one of the few Dodgers swinging a decent bat recently. He'll hit cleanup and play in right field. James Loney has been losing some playing time. 0 for his last 25. Very poor production out of Loney at the first base position. On the mound tonight for the Mets, Sorrel, right-hander Dylan G.
Young man at 26, 4-pitch pitcher, but when you have 4 pitches, you really shouldn't forget about one. The one he doesn't want to forget about is his curveball. It's very effective.
The speedster Dee Gordon will lead it off for the Dodgers. And he'll take a 90-mile-an-hour fastball in there for a strike. Gordon hit over 300 last year in 2 stints with the Dodgers, just 225 this year. Swings over the top of the changeup, 0-2. Don Mattingly telling us pregame that Gordon just looking a little bit young right now, trying to do too much, pressing a little bit. I'm sure, Terry, you've had some players, you can see the talent, but they're a little anxious. Maybe the confidence isn't there, and it really affects them.
And I like the way Don Mattingly described that to us today. I mean, that was a good way of saying he has some things to learn, and I think he understands that.
Jams him, and a pop-up back of second for Tejada, 1 down. How bad has it been for the Dodgers recently? They're the first team in 20 years, the 92 Cubs the last team, to be shut out 5 times in 6 games. They've only scored in 1 of their last 57 innings. They haven't led in their last 61 innings. If they get shut out tonight, it'll be 6 shutouts in the last 7 games. That would be just the second time that's ever happened in Major League history. The '63 Houston Colt 45s. That was Matt Kemp you saw in the dugout. Still out with a hamstring injury, hoping to be back right after the All-Star break, and not a moment too soon if you're Don Mattingly and the Dodgers. Here's A.J. Ellis. Quickly 0-2 on a guy who's very patient, and on-base percentage over 400. Ideally, he's not hitting second. In a perfect world, Mark Ellis is probably hitting second, Kemp third, Ethier fourth, and some of the other guys have a chance to bat lower in the lineup where they should. Just missed.
And A.J. Ellis was doing such a good job down in the order because he was taking his walks, seeing a lot of pitches, letting the pitcher come up to hit in certain innings so they could get around to the top of the order. But as you just alluded to, they got, I mean, their whole batting order's out of whack right now.
On the appeal, didn't go. 2-2.
Juan Rivera, he looks like a much better hitter when he's in the 6 or 7 hole as opposed to hitting cleanup.
Problems at first base and third base. Very little production out of Loney and Uribe. Bobby Abreu has cooled off after doing pretty well when he first came over. Full count now on Ellis. Good hitting can be contagious, and no hitting can be contagious, right?
And you know what, though? And you look up, they're still in pretty good shape in the National League. They're going through a really difficult time.
In the air down the right field line, maybe a play. Duda making sure everybody's okay as he tried to reach into the stands.
Yeah, they are so glad that they got off to such a hot start and built some of that equity in their win column. So they are spending it now, but they are hoping for the cavalry, the regulars, to get back. If they can limp into the All-Star break and get people healthy. Don Mattingly, Ned Colletti, the general manager of the Dodgers, just hoping to get through this time and not get buried.
A game and a half out of first, tied for the wild card lead. And a liner into right center field, a base hit for Ellis, and this one's going to get all the way to the wall. A.J. Ellis with a 1-out double.
I think he hit that ball a little bit better than Lucas Duda thought. If you watch Lucas Duda's route, he thought it was going to be a single. He goes over to cut it off, and it scoots right by him. This ball's hit well. See here, the direct route over, and then he's got to go back and get it.
So a runner in scoring position, something that hasn't happened that often to the Dodgers recently. Ellis out at second with 1 out. There's Bobby Abreu playing left, batting third, hitting .260. And just off the outside edge.
And they got Bobby Abreu to play like 3 or 4 times a week. And as soon as they got him, they got hit with that rash of injuries, and he had to play every day. And at this age, he probably had to play too much. And Don Mattingly said as much. And it's not a knock on Bobby, he's just got a lot of mileage.
One and one.
And you see that shadow behind home plate that Oral was talking about. As that thing creeps towards home plate, it is awful for the hitters.
Is it just hard to see the baseball?
You see part of it. That's the best way I can describe it. You know how hitters talk about seeing rotation? You just see a blur. Look at Oral. He's smiling. He loves it. He just thinks it's the greatest thing ever.
Completely different information than they normally get, and it's a lot less.
So what would you do differently as a pitcher to take advantage of it?
You want the ball to start in one place and end up another, because they can't pick up the spin. They don't know what direction it's going. They just see a shadow moving.
So more off-speed stuff maybe.
Just not in the same place.
Keeping the ball down because it leaves your hand at a certain height, and then it goes down, and then throwing a breaking ball that starts one place and then changes levels.
Swing and a miss by Abreu for out number 2 as Dylan G takes advantage.
Well, Dylan G, you see how that ball starts like it's going to be middle, and all of a sudden it just goes and disappears. This is his changeup. Look at that grip. He's going to turn it over, and the rotation on the ball. Got a lot of cowhide, not laces, hitting the air in front of that ball, so that makes the front of the ball and makes the ball dive, makes it heavy.
G 5-6 on the season, an ERA of 4.42 coming in. Here's Rivera, and a swing and a miss. Rivera has played some first base with Loney struggling. He can play the corner outfield spots. Another guy who spent some time on the DL this season. Loney getting a start, batting 6th tonight. He's been out of the starting lineup 3 times in the last 5 games because he's been struggling so much. Another swing and a miss at another slider, and the count 0-2.
Mike Nickius behind the plate with Dylan G working on the mound. They have to watch a shadow too. The shadow of Mike Nickius is the ones that needs to be watched, especially with a right-handed hitter, because as Nickius moves after giving the signal, the right-handed hitter in his peripheral vision can see the catcher's head and body move to the outside part of the plate. So you have to move late so you don't give away the location to the hitter. Just like he did right there. A little earlier in the inning, he was moving a little earlier than that, but he's moving later now, probably because there's a man on second. He doesn't realize it about the shadow, but when there wasn't a man on second, he was moving earlier, and the shadow could have given away the location when A.J. Ellis got that double.
There's a good look from that camera there, how the shadow of the hitter, the catcher, and the umpire all extend to the right of the plate. Fly ball to right field. Carrying, and over the head of Duda, off the fence on a bounce. And the Dodgers, for just the second time in the last 58 innings, have scored a run. They scored 2 runs in 1 inning against the Mets on Thursday, and now they have a run in the first inning here on Sunday.
This ball was definitely elevated. He's trying to go a high fastball way, and with the shadows the way they are, and the way Rivera swung at that breaking ball low and away in the dirt, I don't really agree with this pitch selection.
It looked like he was almost trying to set up the next pitch, and he didn't get a chance to do that.
Yeah.
So we are tied at 1 here in the bottom of the first, and the batter is second baseman Adam Kennedy. Goes after the first pitch and fouls it off to the left. Psychologically, guys, just to get 1 early, what does that mean for this whole team?
I think it means a lot. I mean, again, Don Mattingly, I thought, was very honest. He said, well, you know, hey, our guys know we're not hitting. He goes, it's not a real fun time. He goes, but we'll try to fight our way through it.
I think it's huge psychologically for Clayton Kershaw. You go out there and thinking I need to be perfect, and he gives up a run in the first inning. His Dopper's down. They come back and get him one. It's like, hey, this is a team effort. You know, you want a Cy Young, you want a Triple Crown, you're our ace, but we're still here fighting for you. That big guy right there appreciates that run. Get this game back to even.
Rivera out at second, 2 down. And an 0-2 count on Kennedy. Kennedy hitting .217, 9 RBIs on the season. Outside.
And there are just so many reasons why the Dodgers need to win this game tonight. You know, you don't see very many 4-game series anymore, and they got a chance to get swept in a 4-game series. They got their ace on the mound. They're facing a team that really struggles against left-handers. I mean, they need to go out and find a way to win this game.
They've lost 7 in a row, 11 of 12. They have lost their lead in the NL West. Reaching for it, Kennedy hits about a 5-hopper out to short, and that'll end the inning. But the Dodgers get a run. Double by Ellis, and an out later, a double by Juan Rivera to cash him in. And at the end of 1 here at Dodger Stadium, the Mets and the Dodgers are tied at 1 on Sunday Night Baseball. Oh. Back at Dodger Stadium for the top of the second. The Mets and Dodgers are tied at 1. Clayton Kershaw on the mound for LA tonight. Justin Turner, the first baseman tonight, leads it off for the Mets. Terry Collins getting as many of his left-handed batters out of there tonight with Clayton Kershaw on the mound. So Ike Davis, Daniel Murphy, 2 hot hitters not in the lineup tonight. There's a strike at 93 in the count of 1-2. After Turner, Ronnie Cedeno, and then Mike Nikias as Turner takes inside 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Mets at 43-36, identical record as the Dodgers have right now. But boy, the 2 teams feeling differently about themselves.
Well, you are so right, Dan. The Dodgers kind of reeling, and the Mets really starting to believe in themselves. Early on, people thought the mystery of the Mets or the mirage of the Mets might just kind of go away. And everybody thought the Dodgers are for real. Kind of changed fortunes as of right now.
It's not that early anymore.
No.
Pretty much at the midway point of the season. Most teams have played somewhere between about 78 and 80 games.
But it's amazing with this, especially with this new wild card rule, how many teams to this point of the season are still heavily involved.
Weekly hit back to the third base side of the mound. Kershaw will make the play. One down.
Batting next, first baseman. Correction, second baseman.
Well, with identical 43 and 36 records, the Mets and Dodgers are tied for the wild card lead. The Pirates lost today, so they're a half game back in the wild card race. Remember, 2 teams get in, as Terry said, in the wild card race. And the Mets within striking distance of the Nationals. The Dodgers within striking distance of the Giants. Back to the mound off the bat of Cedeno. And quickly 2 down. But just 11 days ago, the Dodgers were 4.5 up. Now they're a game and a half out. They've lost 6 games in the standings in an 11-day span.
And you know, it's really interesting. To take it a step further, they lead the league with 13 last at-bat wins. If you take that and cut it in half, they're scuffling. I mean, this is a team that has battled and come back and won late, but they're just missing their horses right now, and it's caught up with them.
And a lot of those big late wins were with Kemp in there making some huge crucial hits in the last couple at bats.
And Andre Ethier and A.J. Ellis, kind of a coming out party for him.
I mean, early on we thought Matt Kemp was going to have 65 home runs and drive in 140. And he looked like he was going to have that kind of monster year.
Mike Nicky is the catcher. And a strike, 1-1.
And the hard thing is, for when you're in uniform, you worry that when a guy comes back, are you going to get the same numbers? Because they've been sitting around, they've not been playing, they've not been competing like everybody else, and they got rust.
Beautiful night here in Los Angeles. The final game of the 4-game series between the Mets and Dodgers, tied at 1, top of the second. And the curveball swung on and missed to end the inning. A couple of groundouts and a strikeout for Kershaw to get the Mets in order here in the second. The second, the Mets and Dodgers tied at 1. Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. Dan Schulman, Terry Francona, Oral Hershiser, Buster Olney. Glad you're along with us tonight. Final game of this 4-game series. The Dodgers got a run in the bottom of the first. Just the second inning in the last 58. in which they have scored a run. James Loney, hitless in his last 25 at bats, leads it off in the second and pulls a ground ball down to first. 3-1 on the putout for out number one. A lot of talk around L.A. the last couple of days that the Dodgers were in conversation with Houston about a possible trade for Carlos Lee. Let's find out what's going on that front with Buster.
And Dan, that trade is not going to happen. When the Astros first took the proposed deal to Carlos Lee to approve or reject, he indicated the Astros that wasn't something he was interested in. And when this lingered into Sunday, the Dodgers informed the Astros today, look, we're pulling out of this arrangement, so there will be no trade of Carlos Lee to the Dodgers. I know in talking with Dodgers officials, they felt like if it wasn't going to be Lee, at some point they'll get somebody, Dan.
All right, Buster, thank you. That's one corner. The other corner, third base, represented right now by the man at the plate, Juan Uribe. He is also struggling. And there's been some talk, Terry, that a former player of yours, Jed Lowry, may be a guy that the Dodgers are targeting from Houston as well. Right now, they just need something to spark them.
And that makes a lot of sense. I mean, there's a guy that's a switch hitter, can play multiple positions. They can move him around the infield, not just for the present, but for the future.
With the extra wild card, there are so many more teams in contention than it seems there normally are. There aren't that many sellers right now. There are a lot of buyers.
I think come trade deadline, this is going to be exciting.
It's going to be a sprint.
Everybody keeps waiting whether it's a Matt Garza for that first trade to be made, just to open up the floodgates.
Well, once the first trade is made, you really identify a seller then for sure, and it might turn the tide on other guys making their decisions.
Now to play, full count.
Kind of like when the free agent, you wait for the top free agents to drop in the winter, and then everybody else starts to sign, and that might be the way this trade deadline works.
Uribe spent some time on the DL with a wrist injury, has not hit the ball well at all since returning to the active roster. And he went around, chased a slider down and away for strike three. ESPN's coverage of Major League Baseball continues both Monday and Wednesday nights. 7 Eastern tomorrow night, the Yankees taking on the struggling Rays. And then at 7 Eastern on Wednesday Night Baseball, a 4th of July matchup between the Texas Rangers and the Chicago White Sox. Monday Night Baseball presented by USAA. Wednesday Night Baseball, both games at 7 Eastern on ESPN. The Rangers, even with all the injuries they've had, all the pitchers they've put on the DL, they've got the best record in baseball. They scuffled for a while, but they've turned it back around.
They've done a really good job of not only building a 25-man roster, but building organizational depth.
Rangers are also playing tonight. They don't play day games in the summer down in Arlington. They're in a 1-1 tie with Oakland in the 5th inning. Texas at 50-29. The best record in baseball. The Angels, who are trying to chase them down, won up in Toronto today as they split that 4-game series. And the Angels are 6 games out and actually leading the wild card race right now after the terrible start the Angels had to the season.
And 6 weeks ago, they were dead and buried.
Yep. 0-2 the count on Tony Gwynn Jr. And a ground ball to short. And the Dodgers go in order. A Baseball Tonight update comes your way right out of this timeout. Mets and Dodgers tied at 1 on the day the All-Star starters and reserves are announced in both leagues. We'll try to run them through for you and get the thoughts of Buster and the guys up here. Here's Dylan G getting his first at bat of the night, the starting pitcher for the Mets. Some big-time voting numbers for the All-Star game. Josh Hamilton received over 11 million votes this year, shattering the record that had been set by Jose Bautista of the Blue Jays last year.
He should run for president.
We saw some other All-Stars there. Matt Kemp, who is going to be in the Home Run Derby. He's the captain of the National League squad. He will not play in the All-Star game. R.A. Dickey just might start the All-Star game for the National League. He's got another win in this series. He's 12-1 on the season. You would imagine very soon is going to be named National League Pitcher of the Month for June. Matt Kemp again will not play in the All-Star game. He will be replaced. Full count on G. Dodgers with 2 All-Stars, the Mets with 2 All-Stars. There's David Wright going for the 6th time in a row. As G, boy, everybody's looking around at each other, and finally the appeal down to first. He didn't swing, and he'll take the leadoff walk. Let's start with the American League starters as they were announced today. The Texas Rangers leading the way with 3 starters, same as the Yankees. Napoli, Beltre, Hamilton for Texas, Cano, Jeter, Granderson for the Yankees. Prince Fielder starting at first base. Jose Bautista, the 3rd outfield starter for the American League, and David Ortiz starting at DH. You can see that there were some teams, and the Rangers and the Giants come to mind when we look at the National League results, where the fans really stepped up and went to work on their ballots.
And you look at the teams that won.
Yeah. Andres Torres, the batter, up high, ball and a strike. A lot of first-time starters in the All-Star game this year. Napoli starting for the first time. Beltre elected as a starter for the first time. Derek Jeter elected as a starter for the 8th time in his career and going to the All-Star game for the 13th time. Clayton Kershaw is going to be there for the 2nd year in a row. David Wright for the 6th time. And a swing and a miss to get Torres one down. The American League reserves for the All-Star game next week in Kansas City. And again, some of these selected by the players, others filled out by the manager. Joe Mauer, Matt Wieters, the 2 catchers. Paul Konerko at first, Ian Kinsler at second. And as Carl mentioned, Mike Trout, Mark Trumbo, 2 young, talented Angel players, both making the team. Folks in Kansas City will be happy to see Billy Butler there. And Adam Dunn, not hitting for an average this year, but having a much better season than he had a year ago. Adam Dunn is going to the All-Star game for the 2nd time in his career. One on, one out. Ruben Tejada, the batter. And a liner into left field for a base hit. Up to second goes G. Now look at the American League pitching staff for the All-Star game now. And again, some of these chosen by the players and then the staff filled out by the manager. CC Sabathia replaced by C.J. Wilson because Sabathia is on the DL. Who's going to start the game? Chris Sale? Justin Verlander? What do you think?
My guess is it'll be Verlander.
Here's David Wright. 1st and 2nd, 1 out. Any big surprises on the list for the American League for you guys?
I'm glad to see Joe Nathan's back. Come back from the surgery, doing a nice job.
Right, with an infield hit his first time up. Now hitting .358. That's the ball to second. There's one. And a wide throw is going to bring a run in. And some Boo Birds are out here in Los Angeles on what should have been an inning-ending double play. But Dee Gordon has just committed his 16th error of the season, and it gives the Mets the lead.
And this looked like it was as tailor-made as you can ask for. Firm enough. He's got plenty of time.
That reminds me of like when Steve Sachs was playing. It's almost like a thing. He's just kind of rushing it, and he's got all kinds of time. You see the runner from home is not even in the picture.
Boy, it's exactly the situation that Don Mattingly described to us before the game, when he's got a very makeable play, and for whatever reason, youth and experience, anxiety, rushes it, commits an error, and it's 2-1 now for the Mets. The scoring on the play, sorry Terry, fielder's choice, no RBI, and E6. Allowing the run to score, and the batter David Wright to take second base. The batter Scott Hairston.
Sometimes the game just looks or seems so fast to players, young players, and especially when they're struggling. And that play looked from up here like it was tailor-made, and I guarantee you to Dee Gordon it was going fast. There'll be a day when it slows down.
You can take that play all the way back to high school, even Little League, and that was so routine for an athletic shortstop coming across the bag, whether there's a runner or not. And he could have taken an extra step and had trouble getting it out of his glove and still had plenty of time.
Things not going very smoothly for that young man at the plate or in the field.
There's a lot of things that happen on that play. You know, obviously you give up the run. Now you have to face Hairston and give the Mets an extra opportunity, and you make your starting pitcher Kershaw throw an extra 10, 12, however many pitches. You may cost him an inning.
Gordon will get another chance. And safe again on a throw in the dirt. Runner coming home. Safe at the plate. And it goes from bad to worse for the Dodgers and Dee Gordon.
Well, I'll tell you, and as rough as this play started out, James Loney's got to be aware to look up, because if he notices it a little bit earlier, the runner is dead at the plate. Okay, we got a ball in the dirt. Loney tries to make the scoop, and he doesn't come up with it, but he looks to the umpire. All he's got to do is look home, because that runner is dead to right at home plate. Look home. Look home.
The error charged to Gordon for bouncing the throw. Second consecutive error. Another run scores. 3-1 Mets, and you can see he's beating himself up right now on the field. You can see him shaking his head back and forth, and he just wants to get into that dugout somehow, some way, as quickly as he can.
This will be interesting to see when this inning's over what staff member of the Dodgers goes up and puts their arm around this kid.
Well, the reaction is going to tell it all right here. And it's just hard. There's nobody in the stadium that wanted to execute that play more than Dee Gordon. And you're talking about repercussions where you got to face Hairston and you got to give more pitches to Kershaw, and you might cost him an inning. With Lucas Duda now up, the repercussions get deeper. But the other repercussion is if the Dodgers need to go out and get a shortstop, it makes the price higher. They know the opposing clubs are going to trade with them, possibly know that they have a desperate need, and that takes the price up.
What about as a pitcher, Oral, when you know your team is not likely to score many runs, and then your shortstop struggling behind you? It's got to be in the mind of Clayton Kershaw. As Ned Colletti, the GM of the Dodgers, looks on from above here in L.A.
When you're a strikeout pitcher like Clayton Kershaw, it makes you want to strike people out, and that builds your pitch count even higher. So instead of looking for those early outs and pitching down in the strike zone, getting your ground balls, you feel like you've put money in a 3-wall safe, and they're finding places to get at your income, and that's what he's got out there. So he's figuring, like, I've got to put it away. I've got to put these hitters away.
2-2 to Duda. Missed inside, a full count, and that'll give Hairston a running start.
If he can just throw that little slider we've talked about, Clayton Kershaw, because of these shadows, and the inning's kind of getting away from him, so he might go to the higher risk pitch. Just make it look like a strike and then break it out of the strike zone. Even though it's 3-2, I think you get him to swing.
Ball 4.
He tried. He just didn't get it down.
They'll slow this down a little bit. Just give him a break. Let him regroup.
This year's Major League Baseball All-Star Game is being held at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City. The festivities begin on Monday, July the 9th, the 2012 State Farm Home Run Derby, live at 8 Eastern right here on ESPN. Then on Tuesday, it's the MLB All-Star Red Carpet Show presented by Chevrolet at 4 Eastern on the MLB Network. And then the game itself Tuesday night, beginning at 7:30 Eastern, it's the All-Star Game on Fox. 3-1, the Mets lead the Dodgers. 2 errors on Dee Gordon, 2 unearned runs. The inning continues with runners at first and second, 2 down. And the batter is Justin Turner. And it's already cost Kershaw not only 2 runs, but as the guys were mentioning, 11 pitches. Now 12 pitches that he has thrown since the first error was committed by Gordon.
Well, it's almost an extra inning, like Terry said. And it's not only an extra inning on your pitch count, but it's almost an extra inning where you're throwing it in this inning, and that's more wear and tear. It's less wear and tear to have this pitch count and have it be over 2 innings.
Turner grounded out his first time up. At second, Hairston. At first, Duda. And the 0-2. High in the air to right field. And now the inning is over. 2 errors, 2 unearned runs, and a 3-1 lead for the Mets over the Dodgers. Presented by Taco Bell is brought to you by Bayer Advanced Aspirin. Join Justin Verlander and take the Fast Relief Challenge. Go to fastreliefchallenge.com for more details. Bayer Advanced Aspirin, the official pain reliever of Major League Baseball. And by Nokia. The smartphone beta test is over. The Nokia Lumia 900 is here. You guys ever gone parasailing?
Yes.
You?
I think I have.
You think you have?
I think I
You're
have.
not. Why did you pass out in the middle?
I had my eyes closed.
Yeah.
You've seen enough of me. I don't even do well in the front seat of a car.
I like it when they dip you.
Bottom third. Dodgers coming up down 3-1. Clayton Kershaw looks at a strike from Dylan G. After Kershaw, back to the top of the order for Dee Gordon and A.J. Ellis. Pop up at a very shallow left field for the first out. Gordon will now come to the plate after a very tough inning defensively. What should have been an inning-ending double play. Takes the throw, sidearm, throws it past first base. That allows a run to score. Gets a chance of the very next play and skips the ball over to first for his second inning of the year. 2 runs would score in the inning as a result. One of the tough things you hear about for a young player, separating offense and defense. When one isn't going well, trying to make sure the other doesn't suffer as a result. And the tough truth right now for Dee Gordon, Terry, is that neither one of them is going really well.
Yeah, you could tell by the way he was just standing out there. He's wearing it right now. And it's not because he's not trying. By all accounts, this kid is as hard a worker as you're going to find. It's just a struggle for him right now. You try to balance development, winning. That's a tough line sometimes.
Well, that'll make him feel a little bit better. Base hit into right field. And now we get a chance potentially to see Dee Gordon's greatest strength, and that is his speed. He's got 25 stolen bases on the season.
Terry Collins is never afraid to pitch out. And the most often when he does is actually on an 0-0 count, just to set the tone and let the other team know he's not afraid.
He's got a strike throw on the mound, so it gives you a little bit more breathing room.
Gordon tied with Tony Campana of the Cubs for the National League lead in stolen bases on the year. A.J. Ellis. Ellis doubled and scored in the first inning. It's the second inning now in the last 59, including the second inning in which the Dodgers have scored a run. Shutout in 5 of their last 6 games coming into tonight. So far, no sign of Gordon running, and it's 0-2 on Ellis.
Tim Wallach down at third base, flashing the signs. Dee Gordon picking him up with an 0-2 count. I wouldn't expect him to run right here. Dylan G's been doing a very good job being quick to the plate.
I mean, as we get deeper into this count, you know, I think they'll let him run even with protection because A.J. Ellis will be swinging. But they want to use his legs. Even though they're down 2, this is his best weapon. This is a pitch-out pitch right here, though.
I think it is, too.
Davey Lopes over there at first, one of the most highly acclaimed coaches in baseball, especially when it comes to the running game. A great Dodger in his day. Timing G's move to the plate. And time called just before G started his move.
And Dee Gordon doesn't look like he's running. I mean, he's faking it a little bit, but I don't think he was running there.
Shadows now have crept pretty much across the mound. He is not running, and a swing and a miss by Ellis for out number 2.
Batting next, left fielder, Bobby Abreu.
Don Mattingly now telling Tim Wallach what he wants going on here as Bobby Abreu comes to the plate. Abreu is about as likely as anybody to take the first pitch.
And Bobby doesn't use that hole as much as he used to in his younger years. So, again, I would not be surprised if they let him, turn him loose. Then a single can score him and get one run closer.
Not going. And it's down and in, ball 1.
The shadows are definitely hard on Bobby, but that's not going to keep Dee Gordon from running. Dee Gordon does not have a flash sign with Bobby Abreu on whether he's going or not, because Bobby never looked down there. So it's coming from Wallach at third base.
Ball 2.
A lot of times you want to watch the hitter if you're the pitcher and the catcher to see if the hitter is glancing down at the man at first and not looking at the third base coach, because base runners and hitters, especially the base runners that have the green light, have flash signs to get protection or to let them know they're running.
And a ground ball up the middle and flipped from the glove by Cedeno to Tejada covering to force Gordon and end the inning. Mets up 3-1 at the end of 3. As we go to the top of the 4th inning, Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. And the ball pushed foul by Ronnie Cedeno, trying to bunt his way aboard against Clayton Kershaw to begin the 4th inning. It'll be Cedeno, Mike Nikias, and Dylan G, the bottom third of the Met lineup. The Mets try to sweep a 4-game series from the Dodgers. Well, we showed you the American League All-Star team. Let's show you the starters for the National League as were announced today. 3 Giants. Buster Posey leading all National League players in votes. Pablo Sandoval overtook David Wright in the last week or so to win the starting assignment at third base. Melky Cabrera having a big season as well. David Wright having a spectacular year. He is going to the All-Star game, but he is not going to be the starter because Giants fans stepped up and got Pablo Sandoval in there as the starter. And a swing and a miss for out number one. Let's send it down to Buster Olney.
Guys, you remember last week how the Mets had that chicken that they nicknamed Little Jerry. Well, after it was announced that David Wright hadn't won the voting, Tim Burdack, the Mets reliever who had gotten the chicken, tweeted out, "Little Jerry voted for David Wright 483 times. What did the rest of you people do?"
You know, when you think about the personality that a typical left-handed pitcher has in the major leagues, Tim Burdack's right there.
He's right on. He's right there.
He's culturally sound.
There's Mike Nickias. Do you guys like the fans being able to vote for the starters in the All-Star game?
Very much so.
Yeah.
I do too.
It's the fans' game.
Bouncer to third. Uribe, 2 down. The reserves for the National League. Carlos Ruiz having a huge season. He's going. Brian LaHair, who got off to such a great start, has really cooled off. Was voted in by the players because he received the second most votes amongst the players at first base behind only Joey Votto, and that's how that works. Jose Altuve representing the Houston Astros. There's a base hit into left field. G has walked and singled tonight. And again, getting through it as quickly as possible. The starters are chosen by the fans. Then the next 16 players, I believe it is, 8 position players, 8 pitchers, are chosen by the players on ballots they did a few weeks ago. And then the manager, and you've done this, Terry, a couple of times, the manager rounds out the roster, getting up to 31 players. But you might have 7 spots and you might have 4 teams that still don't have a player. So you're hamstrung a little bit. And then the last spot goes to that final 5 voting in each league.
Normally, there's very little room for maneuvering as much as it looks because you got to account for teams, positions, injuries. What you end up being is the bearer of bad news.
I was going to say, no matter, people just don't understand, and you're going to get blamed no matter what happens.
You want the job because that means you had a great year the year before, but you don't want the job when it's time to do the job.
I actually think they should let the general managers have more of a hand in selecting the team. I think it would take it away from the guys on the field because they have things going on.
Yeah.
And I just think it would work. I think it would work really well.
Protect the relationships between the players and the managers. Sometimes it's already a little on edge between the GMs and the players as it is.
Let's look at the pitching staff for the National League. And again, is R.A. Dickey going to be the starting pitcher? Certainly got an outstanding chance, you would think. The Nationals represented by Gio Gonzalez and Steven Strasburg among the pitchers. Craig Kimbrell just having an outstanding season. He's there in the bullpen. Aroldis Chapman of the Cincinnati Reds is there. Reds fans not happy that Johnny Cueto is not an all-star. He of the 2.26 ERA. That's one of the names, and I'm sure Buster's getting all kinds of reaction on Twitter about who should be there, who shouldn't be there. Everybody agrees this guy should be there. The only question is, will he start? And schedule-wise, it works out great for him. He's going to start Thursday, then he's off until the All-Star game Tuesday.
And not scheduled to start until the second day back, so the All-Star game would be almost like a perfect little side work for him if he wants to go 1, 2, 3 innings. And if you ask him about rest and being a knuckleballer, he could probably go on a 3 or 4 man rotation.
1-2 the count on Torres. 2 down and a man at first. And a swing and a miss and a curveball in the dirt. The inning is over. To the bottom of the 4th, the Dodgers coming up down 3-1. Presented by Taco Bell. Mets 3, Dodgers 1, bottom of the 4th. Between innings, Buster Olney with Terry Collins.
Terry, you guys have been able to take advantage of some of their mistakes. That's a trademark for your team this year.
Well, it has been. You know, we play hard, and the guys come out, and we got to take advantage of mistakes. You know, they've got a good club. They're right now they're hurt by some injuries. So if they give us an opportunity, we got to take advantage of it.
What have you seen in level of confidence with your team as the season has gone along?
Well, it all starts with the pitching, and our pitching has done a tremendous job. Johan and Ari really set the tone for what they've done this year. And then when they're on the mound, our guys think they have a chance to win because they know that the other team's going to get shut down.
Thanks, Terry. Dan, back to you.
All right, Buster, thank you. As we sat in Terry Collins' office before the game tonight, guys, we talked to him about the expectations for this team, and he told us a story about going on a radio show in New York before the season began. And that the host of the show, he didn't identify him, the host of the show, Terry said to him, so you're going to lose 100 games this season. And Terry said, why am I going to lose 100 games? Why would you say that? And he said he started writing down the names of the players on the team. Rivera lifting a fly ball into center field, 1 down. And he said he figured Ike Davis for 25 homers, and he figured Lucas Duda for 25 homers, and he figured Jason Bay for 20. That hasn't worked out. The concussion again. And he said, David Wright, and looked at Santana coming back and thought they had strengthened their bullpen. And he always figured they would be pretty competitive. And you don't get the feeling, Terry, when you talk to him that he's revising history. He's telling this story as if it were back in February when he was doing the interview. He always felt this had a chance to be a very competitive team. Adam Kennedy ropes the ball into right field, a base hit.
And what he also talked about was not guys having career years, but having their average year. And like you alluded to, Jason Bay is going to be coming back here in the near future. Ike Davis is starting to be the Ike Davis they need. I think they should be excited. I also think they need to fix their bullpen, or they need to add to their bullpen. If they genuinely want to stay in this thing, they got to get some help at the back end of the games.
Do things change, Oral, at any point for the players? You've been on teams, I'm sure, that have overachieved, underachieved. This is perceived as an overachieving team. At what point of the season do things, if at all, change where the guys say, you know what, we're in this thing?
Well, the closer you get to the finish line, the more respect you get from everybody, including yourselves. At the beginning, it's fun. You know, this is unexpected. This is fun. The closer you get to the finish line, now we're getting to the midway point, you're responsible. And then you see how you deal with the responsibility of going out and producing. And then if you get into the pennant race, middle of August, September, then the fun returns again because you're still in it and you're competing.
Loney with a bouncer up the middle, 1 and 2. Loney's struggles continue. 4 complete in L.A. Mets 3, Dodgers 1. 3-1 lead for the Mets over the Dodgers going to the top of the 5th. Between innings, Buster Olney with Dodger manager Don Mattingly.
Don Mattingly, Dee Gordon, a couple of errors early. What have you seen in him today?
Well, a little bit of the same. We talked about it a little bit before the game. That double play ball, he's got plenty of time to seem to kind of rush that. And then like anybody else, that next ball you get is a shaky one. And as a young kid, it's a tough one, when he makes that error. And as much as the run, it costs Clayton a bunch of pitches. James can save, D on that second one. He's got to be aware of the guy coming around third base. That's kind of a textbook, So, a little shaky with D, but it's what we've got with a young shortstop, and we got to keep teaching, try to keep bringing this kid along.
Don, thanks.
Well, Don Mattingly echoing the thoughts that Terry and Orel presented as the play was developing about the extra pitches and Loney having to look home, but the focus, unfortunately for Dee Gordon, most of it is squarely on the shoulders of that young man. And boy, he still looks like he's talking to himself out there at short right now. Did have a base hit when he came up in his last at bat as Tejada bounces one through the left side. And Ruben Tejada now 2 for 2 with a walk.
Third baseman, number 5.
This is the second error where Gordon had a chance, in a sense, to redeem himself. Not a routine play, but a makeable play. Skips the throw over. And then Loney arguing with the umpire and late realizing the runner's going home.
And it's hard to get a view of the runner and Loney at the same time. But if Loney looks home, he has the runner out by several feet.
Saves a run and some pitches. Leadoff man aboard. Here's David Wright.
And it saves his shortstop more than anything. That kid goes in the dugout not feeling so bad about himself.
Right tonight, an infield hit, and then he's reached on a fielder's choice, came around to score on the error by Gordon. Right, as you mentioned, Terry, a little bit earlier, using the whole field so much more, driving the ball the other way, but also, as we saw in the first inning tonight, sometimes just cutting down his swing and going the other way with the pitch. Boy, big curveball there, and it's 0-2.
Now that he's fallen behind in the count, he has that hole open between first and second. If he gets a pitch out over the plate, don't be surprised if he just tries to fight it off, muscle something through that hole.
Yeah, with Adam Kettenby at second base, he's getting a little older. The range is down. We saw that in the first ball that David hit over there, so that hole is extra large.
David Wright in the last few years, remember, he had the concussion after he was hit in the head back in 2009. Adjusted like all Met hitters did to Citi Field before they brought the fences in this year. Had a stress fracture in his back last year, so the last 3 years have not been smooth sailing, at least all the time for David Wright, but he's healthy this year and he's putting up some big numbers. Hits it hard down to third, staggering Uribe, out at second, safe at first.
Clayton Kershaw goes back to the curveball, and David Wright stays on and hits it hard down there. Uribe does a nice job, just trouble getting back to his feet, but boy, does he make a play here. And a little pop-up slide buys the Dodgers an out. They were fortunate to get one there.
So right at first with one out, and the cleanup hitter Scott Hairston. He's got an RBI single and he's reached on an error. 3-1 Mets in the 5th, looking for more against Kershaw.
David Wright picks a lot of pitches, especially against a left-hander, where he'll go first move and just take a chance. He's got 8 stolen bases, but he got 7 caught. He'll just pick a pitch and take off every once in a while. He's got enough speed if he goes on the first move to make it.
Swing and a miss. You can see, as Terry mentioned, the percentage is not good for David Wright. Successful barely half of the time so far this year. Scott Hairston's older brother, Jerry Hairston, a member of the Dodgers. The Hairstons, one of 4 three-generation major league families. The Boones, the Bells, the Colemans, Casey Coleman, a pitcher with the Cubs now, and the Hairstons. Scott and Jerry got a chance to play together briefly a couple of years ago with San Diego. And both players, they know what their role is. They've bounced around, played for a lot of different teams. They're different kinds of players, but both real professional ball players.
And both can hit left-handers. Their grandpa, Sam Hairston, was a coach for me when I was in the Double-A Birmingham Barons.
Really?
Yeah, because of his long tenure with the White Sox. He was a coach at home games, and he was fun to be around. He had some stories that you couldn't believe.
Big crowd on this beautiful night here in L.A. 3-1 the Mets lead in the 5th. And Hairston is gone, 2 down.
This curveball that Clayton Kershaw throws, some have described it as a ball rolling off a table and then it just drops. It has that sharp a break. You see he gets his fingers to the front of the ball. That rotation is 12-6 on a clock, and that one actually is a hanger for him. But it's so good that even when it's up, it breaks pretty sharp.
5 strikeouts on the night now for Kershaw. Lucas Dew to the batter, a fly out and a walk. 94 there for a strike, 0-1. A lot of base runners, and the errors certainly didn't help. Trying to keep his team close and hope the offense can awaken and maybe help the Dodgers pull out of this 7-game losing streak. And they've got a big week. The Cincinnati is here beginning tomorrow night. The National League Central Division leading Cincinnati Reds are here for 3 games, and then the Dodgers go to Arizona for a 4-game series leading into the All-Star break. And Arizona's getting back into it. The Giants are now your leaders in the National League West. The Dodgers have fallen to 2nd. Arizona lost today to Milwaukee 2-1, but they have still made a move the last couple of weeks. When you've got pitching, you've got a chance, and the Giants certainly have that.
Even on nights when they're having trouble mustering some offense, you look up in the 7th inning and they got a chance to win.
Kane's so good this year. Bumgarner's so good. Vogelsong, Zito. Lincecum had a good one his last time out. Swing and a miss, 1-2 on Duda.
It's not a slugfest in the National League West. It's pitching and defense and good production off the bench. If you have that one huge bat like Matt Kemp was doing for the Dodgers, that really makes a huge difference in this division.
1-2. And again the curveball. Another strikeout, number 6 on the night for Kershaw. Mets are done in the top of the 5th.
The State Farm Home Run Derby airs Monday, July 9th at 8 p.m. on ESPN.
Matt Kemp is the captain of the National League Home Run Derby team. And earlier tonight on the Baseball Tonight, he announced his selections, the 3 players who he has asked and have agreed to join the team. He's the captain, and he is going to compete, although he's on the DL and won't play in the All-Star game. He is going to compete in the Home Run Derby. Carlos Beltran, of course, a former Kansas City Royal, will compete in the Home Run Derby in Kansas City. Carlos Gonzalez, Colorado, will be there as well. And a guy that everybody wants to see, Giancarlo Stanton, who has immense power, will compete in the Home Run Derby, the State Farm Home Run Derby, 1 week from tomorrow night in Kansas City, right here on ESPN. Two balls, no strikes on Juan Uribe, leading off the bottom of the 5th inning. Giancarlo Stanton is one of those guys that other major leaguers watch him take BP because he's got so much power.
He may not win that contest, but I'll be willing to bet he'll hit some prodigious home runs there. That's right, that prodigious.
Look at you.
I looked it up.
The strike, 3-1.
And what it means is, it means 30 rows back in Kansas City up by the refreshment stand.
In the fountain, maybe. So there's your National League squad. Kemp, Beltran, Cargo, and Stanton as Uribe draws the leadoff walk. Here is one of those prodigious blasts off the bat of Giancarlo Stanton. This is from May the 21st against Colorado. 462 feet. A grand slam that broke some light panels on the scoreboard. Robinson Cano is the captain of the American League Home Run Derby squad, and he will announce his team on SportsCenter, the 6 p.m. Eastern Time SportsCenter tomorrow. Here's Tony Gwynn Jr. What do you think? Some Dunn, some Prince, some Bautista.
I'm not sure. I know David Ortiz said he was leaning towards not hitting because it tired him out, but I think his fellow countrymen might have a way of maybe talking him into it.
Ground ball to third, to second, and dropped by Cedeno, and everybody is safe.
Boy, this inning is starting out about as bad as you got a 2-run lead. You walk your leadoff hitter. You get your nice little ground ball. No chance for a double play. And Ronnie Cedeno tries to turn it. Now you let your pitcher off the hook. He can go up there and bunt. Got a chance to tie this ball game up.
He never controlled that ball. It wasn't in a transfer. He was attempting to transfer it, but he needed.
But there was no reason to transfer it anyway. No. They had no chance for no play.
1 out.
The scoring is a fielder's choice E4. You can't assume a double play. So Gwynn reaches on a fielder's choice. Uribe safe at second on the air. And here's Kershaw in a bunting situation.
Clayton Kershaw handles the bat pretty well. We see the 7 sacrifice bunts, but he can pull it back and chop it through an infield that's moving around.
Is this about changing the signs on the pitches with a runner out at second?
I actually like this. If there's some confusion, I'd rather them talk about it now before the play than after somebody throws the ball into center field.
You've got to go back 65 innings. The last time that the Dodgers had the lead. That's a week ago, last Sunday, the last time they had a lead in a game. That's a foul ball, and it's 0-2 now on Kershaw.
And the way the Mets are defending this is all Kershaw has to do is bunt it to third, even if it's hard, and make David Wright field it. The Mets don't have a wheel play on or anything like that. They're playing it straight up. He just got to keep it fair and make David Wright field it.
And he gets it down. On a 2-strike pitch, Kershaw with a sacrifice to advance the runners.
And Dylan G really did him a favor. He had him 0-2, and he threw him a strike. That's the toughest time to lay a bunt down. If you elevate one or you throw one down, he threw it right down the middle and did him a favor.
He did a nice job not trying to put it right down the line, just keep it in fair territory, and especially if you've just fouled off a couple so you don't have a lot of confidence. And you're so right about the pitch selection. Dylan G throws him a little down and in breaking ball, something that he's got to offer at, and then pull back if it's a ball. And if it ends up a ball and you steep tilt go at it, you're probably going to foul it off and strike out.
So second and third one out. The Dodgers down 3-1 here in the bottom of the fifth. The batter, Dee Gordon.
You can atone for a lot of sins right here by a base hit. You get your teammates back. You get to show that you got your head up. His last at bat, he did a great job responding to the errors, getting a base hit. But right now, he's trying just to stay within himself and get himself a base hit and help things out.
You know, it's one of those things when you're not going well, it's 0-2 in every at-bat. It's been 0-2 in all 3 at-bats for Gordon tonight.
If it builds character, if it doesn't kill you.
Wright a step inside the bag at third. The rest of the infielders backed up for the Mets. Fouled back.
Now he's got to stay patient because he knows the setup pitch just came. The high fastball, he made an emergency swing and fought it off. Well, is he going to double up with the fastball or is he going to throw me the breaking ball in the dirt? He's got to recognize this pitch early.
The high fastball again. And he fights it off down the line out of play. You can see Nicky is standing, wanting to really emphasize the high target for G.
But you got to think after 2 fastballs up, there's going to be a breaking ball in the dirt. He's going to trust Mike Nickius enough to block it. And it's just the way the sequence should go.
And this time he pops one up and pulls it foul out of play off to the right side. Little cutter or slider in under his hands.
He swung at that ball like the old-time player Willie McGee, like he's on roller skates, because there was no way if he kept his feet planted he was going to be able to hit that. He had to move his feet and swing.
He's battling. Chopper to first, dropped, safe. A run in for the Dodgers, and the speed of Gordon coming into play.
Boy, and you're so right. The speed of Dee Gordon changed that play dramatically.
I'll tell you what, he did a great job battling this little breaking ball here. That's the one that he fouled off over first base prior to getting to this little chopper, but he doesn't hang his head. He stays in there and battles, and now he's got one low and away that he stays on. And that little bit of botch there by Turner. And don't think he didn't think about Dee Gordon's speed, about I need to get this in the glove and get back to the bag quickly, that caused that little bobble.
Mike Davis not in there at first base tonight. Justin Turner playing for him. Still waiting for the scoring on the play. Ronnie Cedeno charged with an error earlier this inning. It is an error on Turner. Gordon is credited with an RBI on the play. The official score saying the run would have scored, and even had Turner made the play that he was going for the out at first base. So it's E3 with an RBI for Gordon. First and third, one out, 1-run game, and here's A.J. Ellis.
And a lot of options for the Dodgers right now. I mean, they got speed at first, speed at third. They got a guy that understands the strike zone.
Win at third, Gordon at first, and the count in Ellis's favor at 1-0. The Mets committing 2 errors this inning. The Dodgers committed 2 errors, both by Gordon back in the third. 3-2 New York. What's your guess, Terry?
At some point, we're going to see movement.
Fly ball, right center, well hit. The catch made, the tag at third by Gwynn. The game is tied.
And it wouldn't be at all surprising to see Dee Gordon take off first pitch, and it would be less surprising to see the Mets pitch out.
So 2 runs across for the Dodgers this inning to tie it. They were down 1-0, came back, down 3-1. They've come back. Here's Abreu 0 for 2. Clayton Kershaw back to a tie game. Gordon not going, and it's ball 1 to Abreu. Abreu looking down at Tim Wallach. As the third base coach gives him the sign. Gordon the lead at first, held by Turner. 25 steals for Gordon. He's been caught 8 times. Gordon had ample opportunity in the third inning. He was at first with 1 out. Ellis was up. And then it was still there with 2 outs when Abreu was up and didn't show any inclination to run. We haven't seen him try it yet here.
I'd be really surprised if he doesn't run in the next 2 pitches. Very surprised.
There he goes. Strike 2 taken. Throw down. Not in time. Number 26 on the season for the National League leader now, and steals Dee Gordon.
It was really fast because he actually hesitated when he got that jump right there. He was not sure about going right away. He's staring down. He even glanced in to see if he could see the pitch selection. And you see, he take that little stutter step.
Can you imagine when if he starts hitting 280, 300, and he's on base, how many stolen bases he's going to have?
Now a base hit can give the Dodgers the lead, something they have not enjoyed in a week. 2-2 the count on Abreu. G victimized by his defense here this inning. 2 errors in the inning, 2 runs across for the Dodgers. And the 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss, and Abreu is gone to end the inning. Tied at 3, end of 5. For San Francisco over Cincinnati gives the Giants a 1.5 game lead over the Dodgers in the National League West, pending the outcome of this one. Tied at 3, top 6. Clayton Kershaw, the Cy Young Award winner in the National League last year, on the mound. Justin Turner will lead it off for the Mets. He's 0 for 2. The Dodgers, by the way, getting their 2 runs to the bottom of the 5th without the benefit of a base hit. A walk, a couple of errors, a sacrifice, and a sacrifice fly. 2-1 on Turner. Don Mattingly telling us before the game he thinks Clayton Kershaw is pitching about as well as he did last year when he went on to win the Cy Young. He said the one difference, Oral, is that he's given up a few more home runs this year. Gave up 15 all of last season, 11 so far this season.
11 in 108 some innings. Now with the innings he has here tonight, about 113 or so, and so the home runs are up.
Speaking of home runs, the Home Run Derby's coming your way a week from tomorrow. The State Farm Home Run Derby right here on ESPN. The American League captain is Robinson Cano. Who's going to join him? We'll find out tomorrow night on SportsCenter. Joey Bats, Adam Dunn. How much fun would he be in a home run derby? Cano's teammate, Curtis Granderson. How about Mark Trumbo, who hit his 20th home run of the season earlier today? Some very good candidates, of course, for the American League. Prince Fielder's a guy everybody would love to see. He's now switched leagues into the American League. Terry, Oral Buster. Let's see, do you guys have anybody in common? A lot of similarities between the three.
Everybody's got Batista.
Joey Bats.
And I took Dunn because I love the fact that Dunn has come back from just a terrible year last year, and I think he deserves it because he's putting the stats back up. And then Curtis Granderson, I picked Curtis just because I love to watch him hit in BP, and the fact that he considers himself not a power hitter.
For a guy who hit 41 last year.
Yeah, so we're just going to label him a power hitter now.
I mean, Adam Dunn may not necessarily win it if he went, but watching him and Stanton, because some of those balls they hit are going to be out of sight.
You got some extra points for distance.
That'd be an interesting twist to the home run derby.
I can't claim that. Heard Buster talk about that on the afternoon edition of Baseball Tonight. Second deck and extra points, something like that.
Just
wouldn't that be fun?
Like a 3-pointer in basketball.
Yep. Yeah. The money ball.
Okay.
2-2 the count on Cedeno. Kershaw with 6 strikeouts on the night, 109 on the season. And it's in the dirt, a full count. Let's go down to Buster.
Terry, I agree with you. I would love to see David Ortiz in this thing, but I did talk to him a couple weeks ago, and he said he was flat out, tired out by that home run derby last year. One thing I remember is how much fun that he and Robinson Cano had, so I hope, as you say, maybe Cano talked him into it.
Ground ball up the middle to his right, Adam Kennedy makes the play, 2 down. Well, a week from tomorrow, it is the 2012 State Farm Home Run Derby, 8 o'clock Eastern to 5 Pacific, right here on ESPN. And we know Matt Kemp will be there. Robinson Cano will be there. Matt Kemp announcing his National League team today. And Robinson Cano will announce the American League team tomorrow on the 6 Eastern time, 6 p.m. Eastern time edition of SportsCenter. 2 out, nobody on for Mike Nickius, 0 for 2. 100 pitches through 5 2/3 for Kershaw. Had 1 3-up, 3-down inning. That was in the second inning against the same 3 hitters he is facing here in the 6th.
He's worked 100 pitches, but attribute about 85 to himself. 15 of them he had to throw a few extra for Dee Gordon. And some James Loney helped out over there at first base by not recognizing the runner going home and lost an extra out.
Boy, good inning here for Kershaw. 3 up and 3 down. Dodgers coming up. Tied at 3.
down to Wills. He has it, goes to Burright, no-hitter. All of the Dodgers are out to Mob Koufax, halfway between third and home. And the pitch, fastball, a big bouncer down to Wills. He has it, goes to Burright, no-hitter. All of the Dodgers are out to Mob Koufax, halfway between third and home.
The great Vin Scully with a call of Sandy Koufax's first no-hitter, the first of 4 that Koufax would throw. It was 50 years ago yesterday, striking out 13 New York Mets, the expansion Mets, in the process back in '62. Sandy Koufax threw 4 no-hitters, had 6 of the most remarkable years, Oral, that any pitcher has ever had for anybody.
And he's made a huge impact in baseball on all of the pitchers and the philosophy of pitching. Even Dylan G on the mound had a nice conversation with him in the spring training on the philosophy of pitching. And Sandy's a big believer of living away and pitching inside when necessary, and made a huge impact on my career and a lot of other Dodgers and Mets and people around baseball.
You don't hear much about him or from him, but these are the 2 franchises with which he's closely associated. Obviously was a Dodger and grew up a childhood friend of Fred Wilpon, right?
Yes, definitely, and has always been called upon by the different pitching coaches through the different organizations that he's a welcome guest at any time. And everybody enjoys seeing him all the time. He's absolutely amazing. Very intelligent, very well thoughtful, and respectful of everyone's career, even knowing when he gives you advice, sometimes you have to take it with a grain of salt because of the tools he was working with.
You know, you used to hear stories, tell me if these are true, that even 15 years after he was retired, every now and again he'd come in and throw BP, and it was still something to behold.
I saw him face Steve Sachs, Greg Brock, and Mike Marshall off on a distant field in Dodger spring training in the 80s when I was with the club, and other than maybe a little steam on the fastball, he made them look terrible. And Clayton Kershaw's curveball, as good as we talk about it, I don't think it's even close to Sandy Koufax's.
Well, I remember doing a game in Clayton Kershaw's rookie season with you, and all you heard then, and Kershaw was just getting to the majors, was, you know, he's left-handed, he's a Dodger, he's got a big curveball. He could be the next Sandy Koufax. I mean, you want to talk about a tough thing to drop on a kid when he's 21 years old.
Yeah, left-handed, tall, throws hard, but Sandy's curveball was one where you actually heard the spin. It spun so tight, and amazing man. I don't even like talking about his pitching. I'd rather talk about his personality and his character.
Dylan G losing command of the strike zone here. Kershaw looking on, 24 years of age, already a Cy Young Award winner. One of 8 Dodgers to win the Cy Young. That is the most for any franchise. 6 of the 8 starting pitchers, including Koufax.
You can see Adam Kennedy trying to use that hole.
Does anybody hook the ball unintentionally or intentionally more than Adam Kennedy?
His hand-eye coordination must be unbelievable, because that bat head is looping through that zone, but he's been doing it for a lot of years.
Remember, won ALCS MVP. It's 10 years ago now when he did it for the Angels. Runner goes, and the pitch driven to right field. And it will skip into the seats for a ground rule double. A bad break for the Dodgers, as Rivera would have scored, but even with the bad break, they've got runners at second and third and nobody out.
Nice little piece of Don Mattingly put a hit and run on.
It's a great piece of hitting, and the fact that the bad break that he don't score the run from first. The other bad break is Adam Kennedy might have ended up at third if this ball starts caroming around in the right field corner, because the wall down there is hard and it's curved, and you get some ugly caroms down there when you hit that wall at that angle, because it can run around to the bullpen fence out into right field.
So the Dodgers with a chance to take their first lead in a week. James Loney looking for his first hit in a week. 0 for 27.
And what the Dodgers would take right now is a ground ball to the right side. Just hit a grounder to second base or first base, drive the run in, and advance the runner from second.
Listen to how excited these fans are. 66 innings since the Dodgers had a lead. That ties the longest in franchise history. They've already scored more runs tonight than they had scored in their previous 6 games combined.
What creates new fans and impacts an organization, the Dodgers trying to come back after the resale of the franchise, is the fact when you play well in front of a sellout, that brings people back after having a great time.
The 1-1 to Loney. Fouled it back. Activity now in the Mets bullpen. The right-hander is Ramon Ramirez. The left-hander Justin Hampson. This year's Major League Baseball All-Star Game is being held in Kansas City. The festivities begin on Monday the 9th. The 2012 State Farm Home Run Derby live at 8 Eastern on ESPN. On Tuesday at 4 Eastern, the MLB All-Star Red Carpet Show presented by Chevrolet. And then the All-Star Game itself, 7:30 Tuesday night on Fox. Way out in front. Wow. Have you ever seen a ball go there in this ballpark?
He didn't foul that over there. He hit it over there. That's hard to do.
He hit that ball into the upper deck, inside of first base.
This ball almost hit him in the chest. To say he's set up for an off-speed pitch, I think, is the understatement of the year.
Got a fastball, and he fouls it back.
Because all he needs to do is hit a grounder to second, and it'll be a successful at-bat.
Down and in breaking ball towards his back foot. And take a little off. Don't worry about how hard the break is, how sharp it is. Just take the speed off.
Lays off the high fastball. Give these fans some credit. They are into it, trying to help out this struggling team as much as they can. They know how long it's been since the Dodgers had a lead.
That's the pitch right there, just a little lower.
You know, it's an awfully big swing for 2 strikes, though. I'd like to see him maybe shorten up a little bit and make sure he gets the job done. Again, a ground ball to second is good enough. When you take a swing that big, you open yourself up to miss on a better pitch.
Ground ball to second. And the Dodgers lead.
It's been 66 innings, but they're on top. They're not on top in the division anymore. They're behind San Francisco, but that dugout feels a lot better right now. Put some wind back in their sails.
RBI ground out. Not only gets a run in, also it advances Kennedy to third with 1 out, forcing the Mets to bring the infield in.
And I think the squeeze could be in play here.
Juan Uribe, the batter. Another guy who's not known for cutting down his swing when it's time to execute. Uribe is 0 for his last 19.
Juan Uribe says, I got your squeeze.
He's probably seen more sliders than any batter in baseball because he keeps getting them and he keeps chasing them. Got a piece, ground ball to short, coming home. Out at the plate is Kennedy.
Kennedy had a lot of traffic to negotiate there. You got the ground ball, it's infield in, you're coming on contact. The bat from Uribe gets left there right in front of home plate. Now he's got Nikias receiving the throw, and he's out by a lot.
And Nikias makes a nice pick because he's got that bat there also. That's a nice play.
Yep.
And a big play for the Mets. Fielder's choice, 2 down, a runner at first.
And you see Nikias keep his mask on. You didn't used to see that, but now more and more catchers are getting instructed to keep that mask on.
Here's Gwynn. Gwynn 0 for 2, grounded out, then reached on a fielder's choice and scored last inning. 2 in the 5th to tie it, 1 in the 6th for the Dodgers to take the lead. They didn't have a hit last inning when they scored twice. They've got 1 hit in this inning. That was the double by Kennedy. Grounder to short, and the inning is over. But for the first time in a week, the Dodgers have a lead after the ground out by Loney makes it 4-3 LA. Taco Bell is brought to you by The Bourne Legacy. There was never just one. In theaters August 10th. And by CenturyLink, a different kind of communications company. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And by Gatorade. Gatorade knows it all begins within. Win from within. Selling some Dodger dogs here at Chavez Ravine. Dan Schulman, Oral Hershiser, Terry Francona, and Buster Olney. 4-3, the Dodgers lead the Mets. And Omar Quintanilla is up as a pinch hitter for Dylan G to begin the 7th inning.
This is tough duty for Quintanilla. I mean, he's left-handed. That's all the Mets have on the bench. But you're facing Kershaw. This is really tough duty.
And it feels like Terry Collins is saving his better bats for a better situation later in the game against a right-handed reliever, perhaps, out of the Dodger pen. He's got Davis, he's got Murphy. Both of them are hot. Fouled back, 2-2 on Quintanilla. Ronald Belisario, right-hander, is now up in the Dodger pen. The Dodgers trying to snap a 7-game losing streak. They've lost 11 out of 12. They've lost their lead in the NL West. They're up a run in the 7th. A little bit high with a curveball.
That curveball was up, but the curveball today has been pretty solid. He's had some that really dropped off the table that have made up for some of his fastball erraticism.
Strikeout number 8.
We talked about coming in this outing how Clayton Kershaw had struggled a little bit with his slider. It cost him some home run pitches, but the curveball's really been the pitch that's picked him up tonight. The curveball really biting. You see how much it breaks. And for a hitter, it seems like it's coming out of the sky. And they're not even coming close to it when they swing at it.
Andres Torres. As a hitter, Terry, whether you're facing a lefty or a righty, in this case a lefty, and there's a curveball that's so big, what do you do with it?
I think most of the good hitters try to eliminate it. They want to swing at one pitch, not both.
Eliminate it mean you just take it?
Yeah, because if again, he throws hard enough where if you're trying to hit a fastball and his breaking ball, you're going to be late on one and early on the other. And you hope you sit on one pitch and you get it, and when you get it, you don't miss it.
Torres has struck out twice. Still throwing hard, 94 here in the 7th.
That's a really interesting thing about a big league hitter is because you actually do go up there thinking if I can just get one pitch to hit, I'll put a good swing on it.
The good ones.
The really good ones. Some people go up to hit and other people go up to find a pitch. They hunt a pitch to hit.
Fly ball to right field, 2 down. Clayton Kershaw is one of 8 Dodgers to win a Cy Young, one of 6 Dodgers starters to win a Cy Young. Don Newcomb in 56, Don Drysdale in 62. Sandy Koufax won 3 of them in a 4-year span. Fernando in 81, our buddy the Bulldog in that great year in 88. And then Clayton Kershaw last year going 21-5 with a 2.28 ERA. No franchise has won as many Cy Youngs as the Dodgers. And there's Fernando. So we have the last 3 Dodger starters to win the Cy Young in the ballpark tonight. Fernando, Orel, and Kershaw.
And one can still throw.
Tell me about Fernando.
Great personality, a lot of fun. When he was learning English, he really talked with his body language and would lasso players on their feet in the locker room. Played a lot of hacky sack with him to keep our cardiovascular up. He's a lot of fun as a teammate.
Fernando Mania. It's tough to describe what that was like, what 1981 was like.
I was still in the minor leagues. He was a Double-A teammate of mine. I used to help him get to and from the ballpark, get him some food after the game. And then when he went up, Ducky LeJohn, our Double-A manager, actually let us have a TV in the dugout to watch him in the All-Star game and to watch his starts because we were all so close to him and pulling for him. We were down in San Antonio.
Strikeout number 9 for last year's Cy Young Award winner, Clayton Kershaw.
and dreams evaporate like mirages. But if you can weather the harsh climate, overcome what you've lost, there is hope on the horizon.
Welcome back to Chavez Ravine Dodger Stadium here in Los Angeles as we go to the bottom of the 7th. The Dodgers with a lead 4-3 on the New York Mets. Saw Matt Kemp, of course, still on the DL, hoping to be back the first day after the All-Star break, first game after the All-Star break. Ramon Ramirez on the mound now for the Mets, as he comes out of the bullpen after 6 innings by Dylan G. The pinch hitter for the Dodgers is Elian Herrera, a utility guy, 8 years in the Dodger minor league system. He is batting in the spot of Clayton Kershaw. Laurel, what do you think of Kershaw's performance tonight?
Thought it was a battle, and I think he performed like a Cy Young or an ace. He didn't let the errors behind him distract from his concentration. He pitched through the larger pitch count, gave his team a chance to win. 7 strong innings.
Herrera lifts a fly ball down the left field line. Hairston is there for out number 1. Kershaw finished very well, retiring the last 9 batters that he faced, and 5 of those 9 were by strikeout as Belisario gets up again in the Dodger pen. Top of the order for the Dodgers, Dee Gordon is up. He's been in the middle of a lot of things here tonight. On the downside, a couple of errors led to 2 unearned runs, but then he had a base hit, reached on an error, his speed coming into play. Play scored a run, then he went on to steal a base. Right in at third, and Turner even with a bag at first. Swing and a miss, and it's 0-2 for the 4th consecutive at bat for Dee Gordon tonight.
And you talked about Ronald Belisario coming in for the Dodgers. The good thing is he gets left-handers out because Terry Collins is going to empty that bench. All of a sudden you're going to see Ike Davis, you're going to see a Daniel Murphy. I mean, they're coming up to guys they can hit for. They can hit for Justin Turner. They can maybe hit for Scott Hairston. But Belisario's done a great job versus left-handers.
Murphy hot all of a sudden. 3 home runs this week. Gordon up the middle, another hit. He's 2 for 4. Let's go down to Buster Olney.
We talked about, Dan, the Mets having such a strong season, 3 games out of first place. At the bottom of the National League East, however, the Philadelphia Phillies are 11 games out of first. They're on a trajectory now for 90 losses, and that's why in the last 48 hours, they've actually reached out to other teams to let them know they may at some point go into sell mode, and specifically Cole Hamels was mentioned. He, of course, is a free agent after this year's over. What the Phillies are telling other teams is to get Hamels, it'll cost 4 or 5 prospects. Now, executives with other teams are wondering if the Phillies could even get close to that type of package because, guys, remember, under the new rules, the team that trades for Hamels would not get compensation picks if he walked away as a free agent. That's going to be the biggest name to watch in the trade market in the month of July.
No question. Some other good starting pitchers out there. Dempster on the DL right now. Garza. Wandy Rodriguez's name has come up, but if Cole Hamels is available, 4 to 5 prospects, teams aren't giving that up anymore like they used to in the old days. But with the Phillies in last, 11 games out, every team in baseball that's contending would love to get Cole Hamels for the rest of this season if the price is right. Runner going, throw down, safe at second. Gordon with another steal.
You know, in some ways you worry about the 2 errors by Dee Gordon, the rough inning, and when he starts spiraling down. He really has responded since then, having a rough inning defensively, a couple stolen bases, some hits, and he's come back with a vengeance with some at-bats that he really battled, and he's making an impact in this game and actually has pulled him back up on top.
And he literally just outran the throw.
Yep.
That was a very good exchange, a nice solid throw, but he outran it.
With 27 steals on the season now for the National League leader, Dee Gordon. In scoring position with one out for A.J. Ellis, as the Dodgers look to add to their one-run lead. Swing and a miss, 2-1. Well-placed fastball by Ramirez. The Dodgers tonight just 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position. That was Juan Rivera's RBI double back in the first. They scored 2 runs in the 5th without the benefit of a hit, thanks to 2 errors committed by the Mets. 3-1.
You can't say enough about Dee Gordon the way he responded to that tough hitting. I'll tell you, he's going to win a lot of fans in the dugout with the coaching staff, with Ned Colletti. As bad as it was, as tough as he came back.
Clayton Kershaw out of the game now, but has a chance to pick up a win tonight. Ball 4. Well, if you weren't with us earlier, here's what Oral was talking about. It started out as a rough night for Dee Gordon back in the 3rd inning. We'll show you that package a little bit later on as Terry Collins has come to the mound and has made a change. He's going to go to the bullpen and to bring in the left-hander Hampson when we come back. And the LA Dodgers with a 4-3 lead as promised before the break. Here's the way that Gordon's night was going a little bit earlier in the 3rd inning. On what looked like a double play ball, bad throw by Gordon allows a run to score. The very next batter, Gordon comes up with it again. Low throw in the dirt. Loney looking to the umpire, doesn't realize the runner's coming home, and another run scores. But Gordon responding since then. 2 hits, an RBI, 2 steals, and as you guys said, earning a lot of character points with his teammates.
Could have spiraled down. It could have been a chance for the Dodgers to maybe go look for a shortstop. Maybe they put up with the growing pains when you watch a young man respond to a difficult night. And maybe character-wise himself, knowing as bad as it was, I've responded in a way that I can play up here and be consistent.
Left-hander Justin Hampson into the game for the Mets. Spent some time with the Padres and Rockies from 06 through 08 and then did not reappear in the majors until this past week. Facing Bobby Abreu with Gordon at second, Ellis at first, and 1 out. Abreu checks the swing as confirmed on the appeal. Ball 1. Abreu tonight, a couple of strikeouts, and he's reached on a fielder's choice. He is 0 for his last 15. Shortstop Tejada trying to keep Gordon close at second. Outfielders play Abreu to hit the ball the other way just a little bit. Up and in, ball 2. Another big crowd, another sellout here at Dodger Stadium. They're hoping to see the Dodgers' first win in over a week. They've lost 7 in a row. Runners are going. At least Gordon is. Throw down to third. Safe. He steals second and third in the same inning, and he's got 3 stolen bases tonight.
And ideally, you have a guy behind him that can follow him as a trail runner. That's actually a pretty good job by A.J. Ellis. He's not fast enough, and they got a chance to throw through. So he stays put, and now Bobby Abreu's in a good RBI situation. That's not a missed sign. That's just a catcher being the trail runner.
Third time this year Gordon has stolen 3 bases in a game. 4-3 Dodgers. Runners on the corners. 1 out. Right in at third. As Abreu takes outside ball 3. Boy, tricky time for infielders, Terry, on a ground ball here. If Abreu eventually puts one in play, depending how hard it's hit, what you do with it.
Well, they haven't played him at a depth where they can turn 2, but if it's not hit hard enough, they go to the plate. But with the speed at third, you're right. They're in no man's land.
3-0 green light for Abreu. Oh, excuse me, it was 3-1. The scoreboard here, forgive me, the scoreboard here at Dodger Stadium had 3-0. My bad. It is now 3-2 on Bobby Abreu. Gordon at third and Ellis at first.
Interesting here. Do you run them? Do you not run them? I mean, there's no speed, but they can't afford to throw it to second.
Ball 4 to load him up. Right-hander Miguel Batista is on his way into the game. The Dodgers looking to break it open when we come back. Presented by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss. And in part by the makers of One A Day Men's, the official multivitamin of Major League Baseball, specially formulated for men. And the all-new Lexus RX-F Sport. Dodger Stadium, bottom of the 7th. Dodgers 4, Mets 3. Bases loaded, 1 out. Right-hander Miguel Batista. Been around forever. Pitching for his 11th team into the game and now for the Mets. And as good a story as the Mets have been, Oral, the bullpen has been more of a problem than part of the solution for New York so far this year.
Yeah, Terry talked earlier, if the Mets are going to continue on with this dream season of doing things that people didn't expect, they're probably going to have to go out and improve their bullpen. This has been the Achilles heel so far as the scar on their record.
Big moment here for the Dodgers. 24th appearance of the season for Batista. Gordon at third. Ellis at second. Abreu at first. One out. Cleanup hitter Juan Rivera, the batter. And a strike. In his career, Rivera just 2 for 10 against Batista. Terry Collins has the bullpen up again. Left-hander Tim Burdack is throwing. We've already seen 3 relievers in this inning. Weekly hit up the third baseline, hugging the line and finally going foul.
Boy, that had disaster written all over it.
And the count is 0-2. Good play by Wright. Really knew he had no play. I tell you, they get excited here when they get some base runners on after a week of non-offense for this team. 5 shutouts in their last 6 games coming into this game tonight. The 0-2. And he lays off. The Giants won. Beat the Reds today. They were a game and a half up on the Dodgers. The Reds are here tomorrow. 50th anniversary season of Dodger Stadium. And the Dodgers, the best record in baseball for much of the year until falling on hard times the last couple of weeks. Back to the mound. And the throw eludes the catcher, Nickius. 1 run home, 2 runs home. Unbelievable. Should have been a 1-2-3 double play to end the inning.
And I know we're going to get a look at it here. It didn't look to be a bad throw. And that ball's got to be handled.
Yeah.
We talked to Terry Collins before the game, and he said, we're a scrappy team, but we have to play the game right. We don't have any power, and we have less speed than power. And so they know that this is really not emblematic of the way they've played to this point in the season.
The error is charged to the catcher, Nickius. Technically the scoring fielder's choice. He, no RBI. But again, the Mets' poor defense enabling the Dodgers to score some runs. 2 errors in the 5th. No hits, and the Dodgers got 2 runs that inning. And they've gotten 2 more runs here this inning on 1 hit, 2 walks, and that big error by Nickius. Fly ball left field. Deep enough. Abreu chugging home. 7-3.
The Dodger fans finally getting a chance to exercise their lungs. And there's a huge sigh of relief in that dugout. They'll take it if the Mets want to give it to them, or they can produce it. Either way, the way the offense has been going, to see that 7 up on the board, sad for Terry Collins, but the Dodger fans feel pretty good.
7 runs on only 6 hits tonight. 3 Met errors. 5 of the 7 runs are unearned. It has been a while since the Dodgers had a night like this, although to be fair, the Mets have really helped them out. The 3 errors leading to 5 unearned runs. Loney, the batter, 0 for 3, an RBI ground out his last time up.
This is obviously it's a hard way to win. When you give teams extra opportunities, you're asking for trouble. And that was the perfect comebacker. I mean, that was going to be a 1-2-3 double play, inning over, and let's go see if we can score.
That'll be frustrating for Terry Collins. His team has had such a good season, but they have played very poorly in the field here tonight. You know who really gave the Dodgers a spark this inning? Dee Gordon. Had the base hit, stole second, stole third. And he's really salvaged his night after the way it began. Down the right field line, that's a fair ball. Rivera getting the wave around third. And in there safely to make it 8-3. James Loney snaps an 0 for 28 with an RBI double.
And this is the swing they've been waiting for. James Loney has this swing. Down and in, the pitch the lefties like, head on the ball, gets extended, hits through it instead of rolling over, hitting that grounder to first. And when he starts joining in on that hit parade, the Dodgers are going to be thrilled. They need their corner guys to show some production.
Loney with his second RBI of the night. Here's the other corner guy, third baseman NYN Uribe. The Dodgers now with 7 hits in this game. 4 of them have been doubles. So they're starting to come to life. Sure, they've been helped. They've been helped a lot by the Mets, but they've also swung the bats better tonight than they have in a week. Gordon, Rivera, and the rest of the Dodgers enjoying themselves a whole lot more tonight than they have the last week. Last couple of weeks, in fact, they lost not only 7 in a row, 11 of 12 coming into tonight. And a 3-0 count on Uribe. Ronald Belisario has been up for an eternity, waiting for his chance to pitch in the top of the 8th inning. And Uribe walks for the second time tonight. Frustrating night for Terry Collins. Well, the Dodgers got out of the gates as well as anybody in baseball. The best record in baseball for so long. We're 7.5 up in the NL West in late May. Then they kind of held their own for a while, going 10-10 over a 20-game stretch. But since then, it has been all kinds of ugly, and the injuries have caught up to them. Not just Kemp, Ted Lilly, Mark Ellis, the last few days, Andre Ethier. High ball one to Tony Gwynn. Ethier on the right, day-to-day with the oblique injury. And he hit off the tee, Don Mattingly told us. Started to do some light hitting. They're hoping to get him back in a couple of days and not have to DL him. Matt Kemp says he will be back the first game after the All-Star break. That's a foul ball. Mark Ellis, they hope, is going to be back in a couple of days. Also a reliever, Javi Guerra. So it looks like the cavalry's coming to the Dodgers if they can just hang in there, Terry, to the All-Star break 1 week from now.
And that's what Don Mattingly talked about. He said, if we got to get to the break, because when we come out of that break, we want to be hitting on all cylinders and have our team, because that's when the pennant race starts. But he's smart enough to know they got to win a few games between now and then.
He'll take 500 between now and the All-Star game.
Win tonight moves him back within a game of the Giants, who beat the Reds earlier. Pitch is really getting away from Bautista. The count 2-1. Miguel Bautista broke in to the majors almost 20 years ago, and he's pitched for 11 different teams. And over the course of his career, he's pitched in every conceivable role you can pitch in. John Roush now up in the Mets pen. Gwynn tonight 0 for 3. Loney with the RBI double this inning, snapping the 0 for 28. Uribe's at first after the walk. And the inning is finally over. But not before the Dodgers score 4 more runs. Dee Gordon had a base hit, stole second, stole third. Eventually came in to score. James Loney got in on the action with an RBI double, and the Dodgers have an 8-3 lead. Dodgers as they lead 8-3 going to the 8th inning as we take a look at our game track, brought to you by Ram. A lot of bad defense in this game. 5 errors in all. The 3 Met errors leading to 5 unearned runs. The 2 Dodger errors leading to 2 unearned runs. Clayton Kershaw's got a chance to win the game, and the Dodgers have a chance to win a game, something they haven't done in any of their last 7. Elian Herrera stays in the game in left field. Belisario in to face David Wright. Some very impressive numbers for Belisario this year. One's down and in at 96, and it's a ball and a strike on Wright, who is 1 for 3 tonight. Had an infield hit back in the first inning. Second in the National League in batting, second in the National League in on base percentage. Wow, that doesn't look like any fun.
It's a lot of movement right there.
Ball's not straight.
No, not at all.
It's got some giddy up on it too.
Two and two. Crowd of over 55,000, 55,359 here at Dodger Stadium, the 5th sellout of the year. Strike 3 called. The second pitch in the at-bat that David Wright did not agree with. And he got some pretty good parting shots in on his way off the field.
Velocity's one weapon, and movement's another weapon. Just watch the movement on these balls. David Wright, a little upset with the moving strike zone, but even tough to hit and even tougher to umpire at times. And K-zone had the last one as a strike. And I'm not sure about the other ones.
I think he was mad about the first one.
Yep.
Here's Scott Hairston.
And you know what? Tony Randazzo did a good job there. David Wright turned around, gave him a little bit of an earful, but he kept on walking, and Tony turned away. That's good.
There was a day when David Wright would not be in the game. When umpires were a little bit more aggressive with following players as players wanted to talk. And David Wright is the benefit of a more disciplined group right now.
You know, Tony might have realized it was a borderline pitch, the second one. And give him a break.
They had a right to gripe a little bit.
Broken back, ground ball to second. 2 down. MLB.TV, baseball everywhere. Watch almost 100 live out-of-market games each week on your favorite devices. Visit MLB.TV for details.
That last swing by Hairston, that won't be the last you see by a right-hand hitter. This ball is 95 and boring in.
He's lucky to still have his knuckles.
Well, I was going to say, don't check the bat, check your fingers.
Yep.
Lucas Duda. The Mets are off tomorrow. They go back home and
sleep.
They'll play the Cubs and the Phillies to head to the All-Star break. How about Belisario? 3 up and 3 down for the Mets in the 8th inning. Impressive stuff from Ronald Belisario. Mid-90s with a ton of movement as well. To the bottom of the 8th, the Dodgers up by 5. Sunday Night Baseball coming to you live from Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, with the Dodgers had a good night, up 8-3 as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning, trying to snap the 7-game losing streak. Elian Herrera leads it off against the new Met pitcher John Roush. Bouncing ball to second, 1 pitch, 1 out. Oh, it's Hefner, excuse me, Jeremy Hefner is into the game. I have made some false assumptions tonight, my friend.
You were being prodigious.
Yeah. Hefner has pitched both as a starter and as a reliever for the Mets, making his 10th appearance of the season. Got some starts before Chris Young came back. Young has pitched well as the 5th starter since he's come back for the Mets, so Hefner back to the bullpen. And a strike taken by Dee Gordon. A busy night, as you can see, for the young shortstop, who's now facing an 0-2 count for the 5th consecutive at bat in this game.
He figures it's worked a couple times tonight. Go ahead and keep at it.
He's battling, though. Gets a piece. And Hefner will win the race. 2 down.
Boy, to have speed like that, oh my goodness. I think I could have hit 230, 235 with wheels like that.
Picking you up about 10, 20 points, huh?
Oh, my goodness.
The son of Tom Gordon,
who is here tonight.
Yeah. You want to talk about curveballs?
I was going to say, that's a curveball from the sky.
Yeah.
Yeah, when Dee was having his troubles out there at shortstop, it reminded me of when Tom used to give up a hit every once in a while. You see the same expression.
And now the trainer having a look at Dee Gordon. We'll get you an update if one becomes available. 2 down in the bottom of the 8th. 8-3 Dodgers. A.J. Ellis takes ball 1.
You know, A.J. Ellis has quietly had a really nice game. Double sack fly, walk. He's been on base. I mean, they're asking him to hit second. That's not what he was here to do.
Let's get another look at Dee Gordon on the ground ball. Oh, and you could see at 2-3 strides before first, looked like something grabbed. He slowed down a little bit before he got to the base.
Looked like it wanted to grab, and he pulled up just in time, because when he started to jog back to the bench, he didn't look like he really had a full-out limp. So he felt something, like it was about to start cramping or spasming up.
Off the end of the bat, out to second, and the inning is over. To the 9th in Los Angeles. We'll see if Gordon comes back out. Don Mattingly's Dodgers 3 outs from a win. back to ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell. Here at beautiful Dodger Stadium, where the Dodgers have an 8-3 lead on the Mets, going to the 9th inning, 3 outs away from snapping this losing streak. Scott Van Slyke comes into the game now for the Dodgers to play left field. Elian Herrera moves from left field to shortstop, so Dee Gordon is out of the game after pulling up just shy of first base last half inning. And Kenley Jansen is into the game for the Dodgers. Look at his numbers. 54 strikeouts on the season for Jansen, a converted catcher 3 years ago. He was coming up through the minors as a position player. But a guy who now has a dozen saves and 54 strikeouts in 34 1/3 innings this year. Justin Turner, the batter, swing and a miss. The Mets' 4-game winning streak in some serious jeopardy right now. Dodgers and Mets at the moment sharing the wild card lead in the National League. There's a strike. Closer hasn't had a chance to work a whole lot lately. So Jansen in there with a 5-run lead tonight.
You know, we talk about late life all the time, and Jansen throws the ball hard, but he has late life, and it's a natural cut action. It really bores in on the lefty and darts away from the righties.
Worked an inning on Friday. Non-save situation here tonight with the Dodgers up 8-3.
Pitch like Mariano Rivera throws. David Robertson.
Turner knew it. 1 down. Coming up next here on ESPN, stay tuned for Sports Center. Some of the stories they'll be looking at back at the studio include Spain defeating Italy to win the Euro 2012 final. The All-Star teams announced. Around Major League Baseball, Josh Hamilton with more than 11 million votes to lead the way. And Tigers a winner at the AT&T National. Daniel Murphy pinch hitting for Ronnie Cedeno. Murphy's hot. Had really been slumping, but had not hit any home runs this year and has hit 3 in the past week and has raised his average up to 280. He's been on a tear. Josh Tolley waiting in the on-deck circle. He'll bat for Mike Nickias. Clayton Kershaw, 7 innings for the Dodgers tonight. He's got a chance to pick up the win. Belisario the 8th. Now Jansen here in the 9th. And a strike. Monday Night Baseball tomorrow night has the Yankees in St. Petersburg to take on the Rays, and then Wednesday night it will be the Texas Rangers with the best record in baseball taking on the Chicago White Sox. 4th of July Wednesday. High in the air to right center field. Gwynn is there to run it down for out number 2. Tonight's Chevrolet player of the game, Clayton Kershaw. Oral, he battled. Those numbers, those are really good numbers, but he had to work for those numbers.
He had to work. He had to throw about 15 extra pitches. And if we were given a comeback player of the game, we'd give it to Dee Gordon. But Clayton Kershaw was solid throughout the whole night. But the second half of the game belonged to Dee Gordon right there, and he responded from his couple errors.
Getting a pat on the back from Bobby Abreu for a job well done.
They needed Kershaw to be a stopper, and he showed up tonight.
Jansen facing Tolley. Strike one. There are some happy people here at Dodger Stadium tonight. After as deflating a week as a major league team can have. Strike two. Ball game. Not only did they score, they won. They snap a 7-game losing streak and score 8 runs in the process. Granted, the Mets gift wrapping 5 of them for them with their bad defense tonight, but the Dodgers, Donnie Baseball, he'll take it tonight as the Dodgers beat the Mets 8-3 and salvage the final game of this 4-game series. Coming up.